Jai Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Okay, class. Okay, we got everybody here. All right. It's the last day. From now on, you can all sleep late. No more getting up early. All right, I think I got everything here. All right. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunya Vihari Vijana Pallabha Jaya Girivara Gopigana Vallabha Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Girivara Dhari Yasodhanandana Jaya Jananandana Yashodhanandana Jaya Jananandana Unnatiramana-chare Jaya Kunya Vihare Jaya Kunya Vihare Yamunatiramana-chare Jaya Kunya Vihare Jaya Kunya Vihare Jaya Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihare Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivara Jaya Girivara Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Girivara Dhari Yasodhanandana Jananandana Jaya Yashodhanandana Jaya Jananandana Unnatiramana-chare Jaya Kunya Vihare Jaya Kunya Vihare Yamunatiramana-chare Jaya Kunya Vihare Jaya Kunya Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihare Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paramahansa all Suteta such as Shimad, His Divine Grace Sabaya, Charanara Bhaktivedanta Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Shri Das Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Gopinath Sayam Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Mathuram Ki Jai, Jagadada Swami Ki Jai, Yamunamai Ki Jai, Srimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Sampita Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bo. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachari Nivasesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dejatarni Om Gana Tamiranda Shah Gananjana Shlagaya Chakshur Meditam Yeda Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavinda.
All right, so we are reading from the Caitanya Bhagavat, Adi Kanda, second chapter, text 9 to 11 right now. All right. So these are Sanskrit verses. Okay. Purve Brahma Janmilena Nabi Padma Hoite Tathapiha Shakti Nai Kichwi Dekite Tabe Abe Sarva Bhave Laila Shananta Tabi Prabhu Kripaya Dilena Darashana Tabe Krishna Kripaya Purila Saraswati Tabe Se Janila Sarva Avatarastiti. So, in the beginning of creation, Lord Brahma was born from the lotus sprouted from the navel of Lord Vishnu. Still, he had no power to see anything. When Brahma took full shelter of the Lord, then out of compassion, the Lord appeared before him. Then, by the mercy of Krishna, Brahma received transcendental knowledge so that he could understand the various incarnations of the Supreme Lord. All right. And then text 12. Hena Krishna Chandraya Durgne Avatara Tana Kripa Vineka Akara Shakti Jani Bara. Lord Krishna's incarnations are very difficult to understand. Who has the power to understand them without his mercy? Text 13. Achincha Gamya Krishnavatara Leela Se Brahma Bhagavate Apane Kahila. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma concludes that the pastimes of Krishna's incarnations are inconceivable and inaccessible. Text 14. Koveti Bhuman Bhagavan Paratman Yogeshvaro Tir Bhavatas Trilokyam Kvava Katam Va Kativa Kateti Vistarayan Kridashi Yogamayam. O Supreme Lord, O great personality, this is from the Bhagavatam, 10:14-21. O Supreme Great One, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Super Soul, Master of all mystic power, your pastimes are taking place continuously in these three worlds, but who can estimate where, how, and when you are employing your spiritual energy in performing these innumerable pastimes? No one can understand the mystery of how your spiritual energy acts. All right. Text 15. Kon Hetu Krishna Chandra. Oh, Krishna Chandra. Karyavatara Karashati Ache Tattva Janite Tahara. Who has the ability to know why Krishna Chandra incarnates? Not this Krishna Chandra. We know why he incarnates. So, Tatapi Sri Bhagavate Gitaya Ye Koya Tahaliki Ye Nimite Avatara Hoya. Still, I'm giving whatever reasons are described in the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And then here's a quote from the Bhagavad Gita, text 17. Yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata yutanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijam yaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, at a some water, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Of course, that's Bhagavad Gita, verse, and I think you all know that verse. Text 18, Prichanaya Sarunam Vinashaya Chaduskritam Dharma Samstapanartaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. Thank you. You are very kind.
It's warm water.
Uh-oh, warm water. My throat gets like this when Krishna Chandra keeps me up late at night. And I don't get enough sleep. It's a symptom of not getting enough sleep. All right. Text 19 to 20. Here's another verse, Sanskrit. Dharma parabhavahayai yakane yakane adharmera prabhalata paridine dine sarujana raksha dushta vinashakarane pramadi prabhorapaya kare vignapane. Whenever there is a decline in religious principles and their religion becomes more prominent day by day, at that time the demigods headed by Brahma pray at the feet of the Lord to protect the sadhus and destroy the miscreants. Text 21. Tabe Prabhu Yugadharma Stapana Kadite Sango Pange Avatirna Unna Pritivite. The Lord then appears in this material world with his associates and paraphernalia in order to re-establish the principles of religion. Text 22. Kali Yuge Dharma Hoye Huri Sankirtan Etadarte Avatirna Shri Shachi Nandana. The religious principle for the age of Kali is the congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Sri Sachinandana incarnates to establish this principle. Text 23. Ekahi Bhagavata Sarva Tattvasara Kirtana Nimitak Gaurachandra Avatara. It is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam that the Supreme Absolute Truth, Lord Gaurachandra, incarnates to propagate the chanting of the holy names. Text 24. Iti dvapare urvisha stuvanti jagarat ishvaram nana tantra vidanena kalvapi tata shrinu. O king, in this way people in Dwapara Yuga glorified the Lord of the universe. In Kali Yuga also people worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead by following various regulations of the real scriptures. Now kindly hear of this from me. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, actually, from the 11th canto. Krishna, famous verse. Krishna Varnam Dvisa Krishnam Sangopanga Shraparshadam Yajaya Sankirtana Prayar Yajantihi Sumeda Saha. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. It's an important verse in the Bhagavatam. There's an elaborate commentary here, which we're not going to read. Text 26. Kali Yuge Sarvadharma Hari Sankirtan Sabha Prakashilena Caitanya Narayana. Lord Chaitanya inaugurated the congregational chanting of the holy names as the essence of all religious principles for the age of Kali. Okay, we'll go through there. Text 27. Kali Yuga Sankirtana Dharma Parivare Avatirna Haila Prabhu Sarva Parikare. In Kali Yuga, the Lord incarnates with his associates in order to maintain the religious principle of Sankirtana. See, text 28. Prabhura Adnaya Age Sarva Parikara Janma Labhi Nilena Sabe Manusha Bitora. On the order of the Lord, all of his associates took birth in human society. Text 29. Kiyananta ki shiva vidinchi rishi gana yatavatarera parshada aptagana. Various demigods and sages who had expertly offered prayers to the Lord in his various incarnations appeared in this material world as associates in Gaura's eternal pastimes. Bhagavata Rupe Janma Haila Sabara Krishna Se Janena Yanra Angshe Janma Yanra. Only Gaura Krishna knew which associate took birth as which devotee. Text 31. Karo Janma Navadvipe Karo Chati Grame He Keha Radhe Odra Deshe Shri Hote Paschime. Some took birth in Navadvip, some in Shatakrama, some in Radhadesh, some in Orissa, some in Srihata, and some in the west. It means the western part of India. It doesn't mean here. So, text 32. Nanastane avatirna haila bhaktagana Navadvipe asi haila sabaramilana. Although the devotees appeared in different places, they all gathered in Navadvip. Sarva Vaishnavera Janma Navadvipa Dame Kona Mahapriya Dasera Janma Anyastane. Most of the Vaishnavas took birth in Navadvip, and some beloved associates appeared elsewhere. Shivas, text 34. Shivasa Panditara, Shri Rama Pandita, Shri Chandra Shekhara Deva, Trilokya Pujita, Shivas Pandit, Shri Ram Pandit, and Shri Chandra Shekhara are worshipped throughout the three worlds. Of course, Shivas Pandit is Narada Muni. And Sri Ram Pandit is basically Narada Muni's associate, Parvata Muni. It's nice. All right. Baba Roga, Vaija Shri, Murari Nama Yandra, Shri Hata E Saba, Vaishnavera Avatara. They, along with Sri Murari Gupta, who cures the living entities of the material disease, all took birth in Srihata. So this is setting the scenes. So text 36 to 37. Pundarika Vijanidi Vaishnava Pradana Caitanya Bhagavat Datta Vasudeva Nama Chatigrame Haila Hinasabara Parakasha Mudhane Haila Vatirna Horidasa. Pundarika Vijanidhi, the topmost Vaishnava, Caitanya Bhagavat, and Vasudev Dutt all appeared in Chatagrama. Haridas Thakur appeared in the village of Budana. Radha Maje Ekachakra Namayache Grama Yani Avatirna Nityananda Bhagavan. The Supreme Lord Nityananda appeared in the village of Ekachakra in Radhadesh. Text 39. Hadai Pandit Nama Shuddha Vipra Raja Mule Sarva Pita Thani Kari Vidavyaja. The exalted Hadai Pandit was the king of the Brahmanas. He was accepted as the father of Lord Nityananda, who was the original father of all. Text 40. Kripa Sindhu Bhakti Dhata Shri Vaishnava Dhamma Radhe Avatirna Haila Nityananda Rama. The ocean of mercy, the giver of devotional service, and the shelter of all Vaishnavas, Sri Nityananda Ram, appeared in Radhadesh. Mahajaya Jaya Dwani Pushpa Varishana Sangope Devata Gane Koilena Takana. At the time of Nityananda's appearance, all the demigods secretly showered flowers and chanted Jai Jai. Text 42. Se dinahaite radhamandala sakala puna puna vadite lagila sumangala. From that day on, the land of Radha began to prosper and signs of auspiciousness became visible. Text 43. Triyute Paramananda Purira Prakasha Nilachale Anra Sange Ekatra Vilasa. Paramananda Puri, who enjoyed pastimes with the Lord in Nilachal, appeared at Trihuta. Where is Trihuta? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know where it is. Maybe someone knows where it is. Ganga Tira Punyastana Sakala Takite Vaishnava Janmaya Kena Shocha De Shite Apana Hailavatirna Ganga Tire Sangira Parshade Kene Janmayena Dure. The banks of the Ganges are most sanctified. Why then would a Vaishnava take birth at an impious place? The Lord appeared on the bank of the Ganges, so why does his associates appear in distant places? Good question. Okay, here's the answer. Text 46 to 47. Ye desha Gangahari nama vivarjita. Ye deshe pandava nahi gela kadachit. Se sabajivera Krishna vatsalahaya. Mahabhakta sabat janmayena ognadiya. Out of compassion, Lord Krishna ordered his great devotees to appear in places where the Ganges does not flow, where the holy names are not chanted, and where the Pandavas did not visit. So we can refer to Srila Prabhupada's pastimes in this regard. That we see when Srila Prabhupada came to the Western world, there were many devotees who joined him immediately. You know, like Tamal Krishna Maharaj and other great devotees, who joined him immediately, and somehow or other, they immediately took positions of leadership in the Krishna consciousness movement. Now, I remember when Srila Prabhupada was around, then there was a lot of room for upward mobility. There was no restrictions, glass ceilings, mind your business, Prabhu. Or hit the dirt, you know, as they hit in French, parterre. You're a new bhakta, I'm senior to you. Wasn't that stuff going on? I'm the preacher. It was, you join the movement, and 6 months after you join the movement, you're out preaching Prabhu and Prabhi. Just like if you read the history, the biography of Jamuna Devi. Has anyone read that? Isn't it? Very inspiring, isn't it? You know, Prabhupada was empowering her. She was serving Prabhupada. Even she was putting Prabhupada's shoes on sometimes. Oh my God. Don't try that with me. So anyway, so she was putting Prabhupada's shoes on, and she was serving, going on morning walks with Prabhupada. And everything was just, you know, everybody was empowered. It was just like, you go out there and preach. When I was 6 months in the movement, I was out opening up a new temple, giving Sunday feast lectures at a major temple. 6 months in the movement. And now, okay, you want to take initiation? You know, we got this list, you know, you can wait for 10 years, and maybe if you're chanting 64 rounds on Ekadasi, you can take initiation if we like you and you give big enough donations to the temple. It's going on. Not here, of course. Here you are compassionate because Krishna Chandra is an ocean of mercy. So anyway, so Prabhupada was pushing people up, not putting people down. And so anyway, so getting back to the point, so when Prabhupada came to the Western world, there are people who had been put in place so they could assist Prabhupada. So in a short 10 or 11 years, Prabhupada was able to, as they say, kickstart the whole Hare Krishna movement. You had Grahasta couples that were sent to London, and they just started everything, and they met George Harrison. And who knows who George Harrison was in his previous life. I'm not saying he's one of, like, the gopis or anything like that, but still was like that. And so if in our Krishna conscious movement we give that opportunity for people to take responsibility early in their Krishna consciousness, not just keep them down in the name of bureaucracy, then Krishna will send some of his associates to help. Anyway, so we understand that many of the devotees who joined in the early years were actually directly sent by Krishna to assist Prabhupada. So we shouldn't say, oh, he was born in the Western world, and I'm from India. I only ate so many chickens when I was young. And he ate other things. I mean, even Bhaktivinoda Thakur described when he was young, before he came to Krishna consciousness, he would eat non-veg food. So one is not supposed to consider the past of Vaishnava is considered an offense when you criticize a Vaishnava because of his past, because of the place where he was born, like it's being described here. Oh, he was born in an impious place. Couldn't be a good devotee, or his caste, or you shouldn't criticize a Vaishnava for, let's say, present reactions to past activities, or some bodily features that are not so attractive. And you just don't do that. Then you're like, if you do that, then you're like Ambalika and Ambika. You know them? Ambalika and Ambika, of course, they had a relationship with Vyasadeva, because Vyasadeva was called to actually give them children, because Shantanu had kicked the bucket. That's an expression. He had left this world. So what happened is that neither of them appreciated Vyasadeva, because they looked at Vyasadeva's countenance. Countenance means the way he looked. And he had been meditating for years in the forest. He actually asked his mother, Satyavati, can I just, take a little while to make myself good looking? And she said, no! You have to do it immediately. He said, okay, there's going to be trouble. Because he understood that these two ladies, they actually criticized the Vaishnava for the way of Vaishnava. And he was the Param Vaishnava, incarnation of Krishna. And so we know that one of them looked at Vyasadeva and, that's a great offense. You look at a Vaishnava, and therefore Dhritarashtra was born. Isn't it? And the other one knew not to close her eyes, but she didn't appreciate. She turned white. Therefore Pandu was born. And then, when there was time, the Satyavati was thinking, we need one more kid. So, send back to Ambika. And so he goes to Ambika. Ambika's thinking, not him again. Offensive attitude towards a Vaishnava. And she puts forward her maidservant. And her maidservant was a pure devotee Krishna. And there was no problem. She just worshipped the lotus feet of Vyasadeva. So that's the point. And the maidservant was able to give birth to Yamaraj Vidura, because she didn't see the externals with a Vaishnava. So this is really important. We shouldn't see the externals, where someone was born, whether everyone has an Indian body, Western body, Chinese body. Isn't it? That's just offensive when we're dealing with Vaishnavas. One has to see it. What does one see? The qualities of a Vaishnava. The 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. Not even like how many verses the person has memorized. He knows the whole Bhagavad Gita backwards and forwards. No. Like my godbrother Jayananda, he couldn't quote one Sanskrit verse other than the Maha Mantra. He couldn't even pronounce the Gayatri mantras. Prabhupada tried to teach him how to chant the Gayatri mantras, right? And after a while, Prabhupada said, it's hopeless. You know the story?
Yeah.
He says, hopeless. He says, just remember me when you chant, when you try to chant. So then one time he was chanting Gayatri with Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and he got finished real quickly. And Tamal Krishna says, you finished your Gayatri? He said, yeah, Prabhupada told me just to think of him. So, and Prabhupada actually felt separation when Jayananda left this world, and Prabhupada indicated he went back to the spiritual world. Wow. And then you go into a temple, I remember, of course I got a chance to cook with Jayananda and do so many things with him. So I remember going to the temple in San Francisco, and I asked, where's Jayananda? Well, he's underneath the car. He was just changing the oil, the transmission, or something like that. And so all I saw were his feet. But those were lotus feet, even if they were covered with oil. You understand? So you see a Vaishnava externally. This is actually what's being addressed here by Vrindavan Das Thakur. What is it? Charyamam Viganayam Navamanyeta Karichet Marchi Buddha Bujasuyeta Sarvadeva Mayo Guru. And even to judge a Vaishnava according to their gender is not good. Like to say that men can give initiation and ladies can't, or Vaishnavis can't. That's also seeing someone according to the body. It says that one has hellish mentality if one judges a Vaishnava according to their body, according to where they were born, according to the way they look, according to past activities. You can't judge a Vaishnava. If you can, but if you do, then it's an offense. Anyway, so this is the point being made here. So let's go on. Text 48. Samsara karite Shri Krishna avatara apane Shri mukke kari chena angikara. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended to deliver the entire universe. He has confirmed this with his own words. Shocha deshe, shocha kule, apana samana, janmaya vaishnave, sabara kare trana. The Lord had his devotees who were equal to him appear at impious places and in impious families in order to deliver them. Wow. Actually, Prabhupada even said that Krishna takes birth himself in different species of life to give association to those in different species of life. Interesting. Okay. Text 50. Ye deshe yai kule Vaishnavavatara Tanhara Prabhave Laksha Yojana Nishtare. In whatever place or family a Vaishnava appears, people for hundreds of thousands of miles around are all delivered. Wow. That's pretty amazing. Now I remember when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was initiating non-Brahmins and giving them sannyas and the thread and everything like that. The ritualistic Smartas became so upset that when they went on pilgrimage, they were stoning the devotees. They closed all the shops and they were throwing stones at the devotees. In fact, there was actually a conspiracy to kill Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and they hired the police to look the other way. And the police revealed that to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, telling him that normally we have no problem taking donations, salary. It's called under the table or greasing the palm. There's two expressions like that. So normally we have no trouble, but not for a saintly person. I'm not going to risk myself for a saintly person. So, hundreds of thousands of miles around. Ye stane Vaishnavagana, Torena Vijaya, Se Stanahaya, Ati Punya Tirtha Maya. Wherever the Vaishnava goes, that place becomes a sanctified place of pilgrimage. Wow. Oh, here's an interesting commentary. Out of humility, the great devotees or swan-like Vaishnavas consider themselves impure. They play the role of visiting holy places to purify themselves just to deceive the materialists, while in fact they purify even the holy places. Ordinary places become sanctified by the presence of Vaishnavas. In this, so this is a statement here. There's more quotes. So we see that wherever Prabhupada visited, then devotees maintain that place as a place of pilgrimage. especially 22nd Avenue, and now the devotees have the place where Prabhupada was born, and so many things. They're trying to get that rooftop of Ultadanga in Calcutta, where Prabhupada first heard from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and then Prabhupada's rooms in Mayapur, Prabhupada's rooms in Vrindavan. These are all very, very special holy places. Very, very nice. Okay. Text 52. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya had his devotees appear in all different countries. Nanastane avatirna haila bhakta gana navadvipe asi sabara haila milana. Although the devotees appeared in various places, they all met together in Navadvip. Text 54. Navadvipe haiva prabhuravatara otaiva navadvipe milina sabara. Because the Lord would appear in Navadvipa, the devotees all gathered there. Text 55. Navadvipa hena gramatri bhuvane nai yanhi avatirna hoila Caitanya Goshai. There's no place in the three worlds like Navadvip where Sri Chaitanya appeared. Wow. Text 56. Avatiri Bena Prabhu Janiya Vidata Sakala Sampurnakari Tu Elena Tata. Knowing that the Lord would appear, Providence arranged all prosperity and opulence in advance. Navadvipa Sampati Ke Kanibare Pare Eko Ganga Gate Laksha Lokasnana Kare. Who can describe the opulences of Navadvip? 100,000 people would take bath at one bathing ghat. Text 58. Trivida Vayase Eka Jati Laksha Laksha Sarasati Prasade Sabe Mahadaksha. By the merciful glance of Saraswati, the goddess of learning, hundreds of thousands of children, youths, and old people were expert in the scriptures. 59. Sabe Maha Adya Paka Karigar Vatare Balakeo Bhattacharya Sane Kaksha Kare. They were all proud of being great scholars. Even a young boy would challenge his teacher. That's nice. Nanadesha Haite Loka Navadvipe Aiha Navadvipe Padile Sevidya Rasa Paya. Many people came from the various provinces to study in Navadvipa, because by studying there one achieved a taste for education. Text 61. Ataiva Paduyara Nahi Samuchaya Lakshakoti Adhyapaka Nakika Nishjaya. Therefore, no one could count the innumerable students and millions of teachers there. Text 62. Ramadrishtipati Sarva Loka Sukeva Se Yartakala Yayamatra Yavahara Rase. By the merciful glance of Rama, the goddess of fortune, everyone lived happily there. But they wasted their time in mundane activities. 63. Krishna Rama Bhakti Shunya Sakala Sansara Pratama Kailite Haila Visha Achara. The whole universe was devoid of devotion to Krishna and Balaram, and future symptoms of the age of Kali became manifest in the beginning of the age. 64. Dharma Karma Lokasabe Ematra Jane Mangala Chandira Gite Kare Jagarane. People's religion consisted of fruitive activities, basically rituals to attain things in this material world, and they would stay awake throughout the night, chanting prayers to Mangala Chandi, goddess Durga, like they do in Fiji. Isn't it? Durga Puja is very famous there. Also in Bengal, very, very prominent. Dambakare Vishahare Puje Kona Jana Putale Kare Keho Dia Bahudana. Some people proudly worshipped Vishahare. Oh my God. You know what that means? The Lord of Poison. Visha. No, that's not. The goddess of snakes. Not Balaram, no. Vishahari, it means the Lord of the snakes, the goddess of Hari, the goddess of snakes. Let's see how it's pronounced here. Yes, Vishahari. Visha. Just like they had these beautiful girls called Visha Kanyas. You ever heard of them before?
Yeah.
They were given poison from their very birth. Little amount, and then was increased. So they would go to the opposing side and kiss the soldiers, and they would die. It's called the kiss of death. So some people proudly worship Vishahari. Wow. The goddess of snakes. And others spent great wealth in idol worship. Wow. Let's see. Puja to go Kari Akino. Yeah. Wow. Pretty heavy. Actually, let me read this. This is an interesting commentary by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because it really gives us an indication of what it was like even when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was there in Bengal. In the commentary, he says, ordinary people, particularly the rich mercantile community, lavishly spent money for worship of Manasag Devi, another name of Vishohuri. They purchased the entire Brahmin and Pandit communities and kept them under their control. That means, because the Brahmanas, how do you keep a Brahman under your control? You purchase them. Because the Brahmanas, obviously were not acting as real Brahmanas. They were interested in money. They just like nowadays, of course, you can hire a Brahmin. You just go on the internet, www.brahman.nz. You can, what's your price? How much to give my kid a name? So blessings. That's how you keep a Brahman under control. So they had various idols. Here's the word idols again. Idols means just like some invented statue that you worship. And deities of demigods and goddesses made, and they donated large sums of money in charity. Even today, the practice of making various kind of idols, and again, the word is used by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, is current at the time of the Rasa Yatra. Instead of serving the deity of the Supreme Lord on the spiritual platform, they followed the system of idol worship and spent huge amount. You see this actually, where they make, statues in Bengal and have different festivals. It's really, and spend huge amounts of money on the festivals. Later, they immerse these idols in the water and prove the flickering nature of their worship and their object of worship. So, that's Ganesh Puja. You understand? I mean, it's just like in Mumbai, it's described that after this Ganesh Chaturdasi, they have to they come by with the bulldozers.
Yeah.
You know what a bulldozer is?
Yeah.
It's like how do you describe a bulldozer? It's a big tractor with a front end loader, a scoop in the front, because there's so many millions of deities or idols of Ganeshji there. Be like if we take the deities and then we just worship them during Janmashtami and throw them out after Janmashtami.
Yes.
Then it actually becomes idol worship at that point. Later they immerse these idols in the water and prove the flickering nature of their worship and their object of worship, because they spent large amounts of money on useless purposes The worship of deities such as Sri Jagannatha Deva was rarely found in Bengal. Another reading, now none of you should listen to this. Another reading, the second line is Putali Vida Dite Bhaya Bahudana, which indicates that people were maddened with material enjoyment uselessly, and proudly spent money in marriage ceremonies between male and female monkeys, cats and dolls. Yeah, there's the reason they do that, you may think, why do they do that? It's just like, somehow or other, like if there's a inauspicious sign in the astrology about their daughter's marriage or something like that. It's interesting. They will do these ceremonies, or we already did a ceremony like that, or they'll get even their daughter, a human daughter, married to some
Tree or
banana tree.
Yeah.
Banana tree. Oh, and then get a divorce afterwards. Or the banana, no, she'll eat the bananas. So, so many things. Anyway, so somehow or other there was some logic, illogic, but logic behind doing male and female monkey marriages. Somehow, it was to get rid of some sort of inauspiciousness like that. It wasn't that they just liked male and female monkeys, but there was there's some stupid ritual behind it, reason behind it. And now, actually, as we know, when one chants the holy name, then all inauspicious things fly far away. It doesn't matter, if your astrology says this, your astrology says that, you just chant the holy name. In this way, they increase their aversion to the Lord. Aversion means hate of the Lord. Text 66. Interesting. Dana nashta kare putra kanyara vibhaya emata jagatera vyarta kala yaya. People squandered money on the marriages, you won't like this one, of their sons and daughters. In this way, they wasted their human lives. Actually, your children, you didn't spend much money on their marriage. I did it. And nobody gave me anything. 5 Fijian dollars. Remember to this day. Anyway, so it wasn't an expensive marriage. But as a lot of people came, you remember? They actually were. Actually, there's so many people that are hanging out of the windows during that marriage.
Was it in Suva?
Yeah.
Suva?
Suva.
Mm.
In Asori, yeah. I remember. It was me and Vishwanath did it. It was a dual marriage. 2 for the price of 1. Yeah, this way you save more money.
Less for the Pandit.
That's practical. Save more money and got a damn cheap Babu Pandit, so. I'm just joking. It was an auspicious marriage. So here's the commentary, which is interesting. Some people considered family life as the goal of life, and thus they spent large sums on the marriages of their sons and daughters. We see this happening, even in modern day ISKCON. In this way, they increased the happiness of those who are averse to Lord Hari. In other words, you invite all the people who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. This is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, don't blame me. They concluded that getting their sons and daughters married is far better than worshiping the Supreme Lord. In this way, they simply wasted their time in mundane affairs. Anyway, on that happy note, we will take questions. No, your marriage is very auspicious. I was just joking, It was actually extremely auspicious marriage. And
It was done by you, really.
yeah, I mean, I was very happy with the marriage. And it was a nice preaching event and everything was Christian conscious. So I was just joking about that. You know, it was very good.
But
So,
like some people were saying that you did two together and then one will not last, and that has really happened. Like with
but that's not the reason.
So
I tell you the.
so-
All right, I don't think. Do you want me to get into the reason why one didn't last? Because it was a mismatch. Because it was a love marriage. You know, it's just that. You know what you see. You know what was really. All right, let's talk in general. Why marriages don't last? One reason is because it's pratiloma. Pratiloma marriage. You know, one has to apply common sense and not just get into all this, you know, the superstition, Hindu superstition. A pratiloma marriage is where you have a woman who is more intelligent than the man. That's why, you know, usually it's good that people take advice about marriages, because when you have a woman who's more intelligent than the man's ego is just like can't handle it. And he tries to dominate through less intelligent means. You know, it's just practical. Let's say you have a lady who's a Brahmin, intelligent lady, you know, went to the university and everything like that, and a man who didn't even graduate from high school. I mean, I don't care how you do the marriage, that marriage probably won't last.
That's true.
You know, probably won't last. So, you know, I think common sense is actually more important than all these auspicious or inauspicious signs. I mean, like the story I told the other day about, you know, Devyani and Yayati. That marriage was very troubled. I mean, it lasted because I guess Shukracharya would have cursed him to die if it hadn't lasted. But anyway, so, but Devyani, yeah, it didn't work because Devyani was Brahmin by caste, and Yati was Kshatriya, and Yati was lusty. He even compared himself to a goat. That's his words, not my words. And Devyani was very upset that her husband was unfaithful because she was a Brahmin. She expected a higher standard, isn't it? And also her father expected a higher standard. And if you have a father-in-law who's a Brahmin, you better stick with your wife no matter what, because you ain't going to enjoy life after that. So, you know, that's really why, you know, to give you an explanation, you know, because you brought it up about that. Use common sense. I mean, astrology you can take into consideration, but common sense. But the problem is that when people are in love, they don't have common sense. Right? Like, your marriage was arranged?
Both.
But no, but it's compatible because you're both of the same nature. You know, you both, you know, pretty much the same nature. Rather like, you know, she's educated, intelligent. She asks nice questions too. And you're educated and intelligent, so, you know, it's compatible. But if you were, let's say, a truck driver, nothing against truck drivers. All right, let's say you're, anyway, I like truck drivers.
Supermarket collector.
Yeah.
Trolley.
You know. But I mean, there's nothing against, I mean, let's say you were uneducated. You had like a 3rd grade education.
Sugarcane cutter.
What?
Sugarcane cutter.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. We don't want to offend anybody. It's not the occupation, but let's say you only had like really
Low education.
low education, you didn't speak English properly, and she's highly educated, and, you know, speaks English quite well, knows philosophy, asks a lot of good questions, and you were like, ooh. And yes, you say, what do you think about the point that Gurudev made in class? What's that? I just want to eat. It's just like, can we go to a holy place for vacation? Yeah, I just want to go to Singapore. Doesn't work out too well, does it?
Mm.
But if the wife is like that and the husband is more educated, then it tends to work out. Because the wife will, anyway, wife naturally will, if the husband's a Brahmin, the wife will respect that. It's interesting. But the male ego is such that if the wife is a Brahmin, the husband won't respect that.
Mm.
Because of the ego. It's not a question of someone's more intelligent, less intelligent, submissive, unsubmissive. But men have this ego, it's Purusha mentality. They have to be the controller.
Mm.
And so because of that mentality, then naturally it's better if the man is, equal, or I don't want to use the word caste, but more towards a Brahmin than the lady. It's just because of the male ego. It doesn't have anything to do bad about the lady or good about the man. It's just men have egos.
Yeah.
Controlling egos. And women have it too when they've actually not have a good experience with men. Then they actually develop more of a masculine attitude. I mean, that's generalization. There's always exceptions. Whatever. So really, you brought up the point. You brought up the
You're
point.
saying auspicious, then that's why.
Yeah, it was auspicious, but it was pratilom. And it was bound to be problems. So I've seen that time and time again. Even whether one person gets married, or 2, or 10, or a million, then I can see when marriages are going to last and when they're not going to last, based on that pratilom, anulom consideration. That's Vedic.
Is it?
I mean, there are Vedic marriages where there's just Gandharva marriages, where they just exchange garlands.
Mm.
I mean, Ram and Lakshman, there was 4 people getting married. Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna.
Yeah.
That's what you advised us when we asked that we need to.
Yeah. I mean, you had 4 people. I think all those marriages worked out pretty well. Sita Devi didn't ask for a divorce, even after Ram sent her away to the forest.
Mm.
I would have sent her to divorce court after that. How can your husband send you away to the forest?
Yeah. When she was expecting.
And Lakshman wouldn't even let his wife cry, right?
Mm.
To Urmila, he said, you're prohibited from crying while I'm away. So the poor lady,
Howling.
she just had to breathe deeply for. And Bart's wife just had to live in the kingdom while he was out there in the forest.
Mm. Actually, we hardly ever talk about Bharat's wife, but she also made some.
Yeah, she had to do a lot of austerities, isn't it? What was her name? Manavi?
Yeah.
Mandavi.
Mandavi. Mandavi.
Mandavi.
Manavi.
Mandvi.
No, in the Valmiki Ramayana, it's Manavi.
Manavi. Oh.
Manavi. So anyway, so she just had to do all these austerities, where her husband was out in Nandigram, doing these austerities too. So they all had to do austerities. So, but that was 4 for the price of 1. Isn't it? So it wasn't a lot, it's not a question like that, and then you had with Shobri Muni had 50 for the price of one. It's pretty good, isn't it? 50 for the price of one for Shobri Muni. So it's not the question of the number, it's the question of, I think you just use common sense with marriages.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And you can pull out your astrology. I was talking to a couple yesterday that after they got married, they discovered they had horrible astrology, but they're completely happy because they're Krishna conscious. So I just say common sense. If you're in love, you're in trouble. Yeah, because you won't have common sense.
Somebody did the astrology for them.
Yeah.
They said it was 87%.
Yeah, so 87%. You know,
I don't know.
it's just common sense. You know male psychology, you know female psychology.
Yeah.
Use your brain.
We did advise, but
Yeah, oh no, because that was a love marriage. You brought it up. I didn't want to speak specifically about any particular marriage. You're
no,
the,
because so many cases are coming up like that.
because there's
So
no
at least
there's
we
no
should know
understanding
what is the problem.
of compatibility. Actually, in ISKCON now, we have there's a whole checklist about expectations, compatibility, and then there's more chance. You know, and also people have to be ready to adapt to the other person. You can't just have your own way all the time. I mean, that's why I'm a sannyasi. Because I want my own way all the time. I could just tell Krishna Chanda, I want this, I want that, I want that. I tell Tilakit, I want this for dinner, that for dinner, and this for dinner. It's great. Great life, And then I can play with the babies and then they send them back to their mothers. You get the best of both worlds, isn't it?
To take care of.
You have to take care of them. I just say, oh, how cute. And the mother has to do all the work. All right. Enough humor. So I think we have to end now because we have scheduled today. And we're leaving today. So today is Ekadashi. In a family it's important to preach to the husband. Uh-oh. Here's someone who wants to preach to his husband. Let me just look at this comment. In the family, is it more important to preach to the husband rather than the wife, as it's more likely the family will do what the husband wants? That's interesting. No. I think we preach to both of them. We share Christian consciousness with both of them. And, people who wives can take up Krishna consciousness, and we just advise them, remain faithful to your husband. We preach to both people. I don't think we just preach to the husband, all right, husband and wife come. Hey, let your wife step out of the room. We have something to tell you. She's just, that's a sort of chauvinism, isn't it? So we preach to the wife, but we don't encourage her to drop the husband off.
Yeah.
Just to tell the husband, I'm a devotee now, you're just a demon Rakshas. Because Prabhupada's sister stayed with her husband. You remain faithful to someone. It was like whoops. Anyway, so many questions here about husbands and wives because everyone wants to leave their husbands. So anyway. Oh. Guru Maharaj, should I leave my husband? He woke up he was waking up late. He refused to get up at 3 a.m. He chants his rounds too late, He goes bowling. Should I leave him? No, people, you don't leave your parents. You remain faithful to the person. like Prabhupada's sister. And then he eventually changed. She was married to a guy who was a drunkard, I think meat eater too. And he changed. You know, you just be kind. We want marriages to stay together. So yeah, both are exposed to Krishna consciousness. I've seen in many instances the wife brings the husband to Krishna consciousness. Like in your case. You are hiding out from your husband. You're sneaking to the temple. We told the story. You don't mind again. You were sneaking to the temple, and your husband was like, "Oh, don't you go to that Hare Krishna temple again." The temple's right next door. And your poor husband had to hear the holy names. And he was just thinking, oh my God, I have to hear those names again, right? You're thinking like that? Oh no, that kirtan. Ah!
No, Gurudev, actually he was very favorable in the beginning, but
Yeah.
Like a president of Lotoka came
Yeah.
to Lambasa, and they were talking upstairs, and that time he was doing Hanuman, he was offering flowers,
Yeah.
because we had that.
And what did they say
Yeah.
to him?
And then I think Nandkishore Prabhu asked that are they devotees yet? Then Prabhu said that the president of Lambas, I said, no, they are worshipping monkey. So that made him upset.
Oh my
From
God.
that time he became.
They offended Hanuman.
Yeah, that time he became.
Oh, now I
Yeah.
know. He was
Actually, not from the beginning. He was
not from the beginning.
Yeah. He was going to the temple. He was.
So they
yeah.
offended Hanuman.
Yes,
That's a great offense.
from
Who's-
that time.
Who said that?
Yeah.
Vrindavan Chandra said
Yeah,
that?
Yes. I didn't want to take the name.
Oh,
So
Hare Krishna.
he actually heard it because he was that time he was offering the flowers wherever we do the.
So he
Yeah.
heard that.
He heard that.
No,
Because
worship of
we
Hanuman
everybody
is
do that.
fantastic.
Yeah. So from that time he became
He's Param Bhakta.
because because he was very
Attached.
That was how he became a
devoted to
nimble.
Hanuman.
From that time he started.
Yeah.
I mean,
Otherwise we are all going before.
oh, now I know the real story. So you were right.
Yeah.
You were
Then
right.
he used to close the curtain, don't look, don't go there, don't listen to them.
Now I understand.
they
I
are-
didn't hear that part of the story
Yeah.
before. So you were right. You never. I agree with what you did. I would have hung the goats too. Yeah. Not really. But.
Actually, that I wanted to.
No, thank you. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Your husband was absolutely right. And you know, there was an offense against Hanuman.
Yeah, we were all doing Hanuman Puja.
Yeah. Oh my God. Why did you call me?
That time I didn't know.
I know. Okay, I think we have to end now.
Yeah.